Hey guys, it's Ash here. Well, I took all my videos down and have decided to do a complete clean slate. I really don't know why, or I think it's just because I cringed out by my old videos. Plus there are people in old videos that I don't talk to anymore. Yeah, because of reasons that we'll get into it later. So obviously a lot has happened this year, and I decided that for my first video of this year, I decided I would do a year recap and talk about things, my personal experiences with them, how I managed them, and just about how overall things I thought affected people. Basically, some topics may be a little bit harder for people, so I will create time frames if people want to skip, or if so, you can just click off the video. I don't want to trigger people, that's not what I'm here to do, if you get what I mean. My script is right here because it's a very spontaneous video. After a lot of stuff that had gone on today that had got me really down and just out of it the entire day, I decided that I would create a script, spontaneously film a video, and show the aspects of things that maybe not everyone had or seen, but things that have certainly affected people in certain ways. So obviously, we're going to go straight up with the first topic as COVID-19. You know where I'm going to go with this. Sorry. Obviously, lockdown had happened in March, and that's because people weren't really being careful, I guess you could say. Please don't come for me. March was a very, very long time ago, and a lot of stuff has happened to me since March, so my honest apologies if I offend or hurt anyone. I'm really, really not trying to. At first, I was frustrated and angry with lockdown because, I had a partner at the time, and obviously we couldn't see each other, and because of lockdown I also ended it with this partner. Well, they ended it with me, vice versa. It is what it is. But basically, and also if I look around, it's just because I can't really stay focused looking at a camera. I am so sorry. I am all over the place right now. But basically, it made me realise a couple things, and that on this side of the aspect of COVID ruined so many things for people. Friendships, relationships, sometimes even family connections. And that hurts me because I can relate to two of those. I stopped talking to people, but I did also reconnect with people, and it's made me really sad that I did stop talking to those people because they were really, really lovely people, but it just stopped happening. And relationships, obviously, as I said, me and my partner decided to end it, and it sucks because I know that it could have been a lot worse for other people, but I somewhat understand, obviously, with my experiences, and the strain of all of it really did mess a lot of things up. For example, family households, sometimes being in the same household with a family for so long can make you argue and fight, and that's not really what I want to do personally. But I would get into so many fights with my family, and I would feel so bad after them, and it was annoying and stressful, obviously, because you couldn't go anywhere. And the only time you could see your friends was FaceTime and calling and stuff, and that, it really, really does suck. And, it's something that I had to do because I'm asthmatic, so, yeah. And although I did get to see my friends, I think in July, from March to July, it was so tough, just trying to stop your normal routine, and just you'll see how your normal routine just becomes waking up, staying in the house, or, going for a little bit of exercise and things. And it was so tough for me personally because I had created a really, really good sort of, normal life schedule, and then it just got thrown right out the window. As we're now going to sort of move still into the lockdown phase, but not friendships and relationships and things like that. I did take a lot of time to myself. I guess I sort of just clicked reset, and I was like, I'm just gonna take time to myself and make sure that I know that I'm gonna be okay, even if, you know, I go back to my roots and things, which I did. I changed a lot of things about myself. A lot of things changed about places. For example, I think it was in Venice, the waters just went clear because there were no boats or anything. And then a lot of things overall changed. For example, how we start our day. Now how we go to everywhere, and masks are the normal. You know, social distancing is the normal. You know, having households, not really being able to have massive parties and things has become the normal. And I realised a few things about myself during this time where we couldn't go anywhere and we couldn't do anything. I'm obviously in the flag in the background, you can see, but I realised that I was a lesbian. Well, realised, because I realised this a very, very long time ago. And then about a year ago, I had hid myself again, gone back into the closet, I guess you could say. And it was an awful time because I wasn't being myself. And over lockdown, I realised this isn't who I am. So yeah, I came back out this year, and I've had a lot of positive experiences with it, and it has generally made me really happy with myself. But also along that side, with figuring all these things out, my depression also hit very, very hard. Now here is the very bad subject. Now you can skip. I will give another time frame to where you can skip to in a second, but if you want to just click off, that's fine. And if you do want to listen, and then, well, here's my story with it. When it comes to mental health, I can say that, hopefully I can say for a lot of people, that my mental health and a lot of other people's health, mentally and physically, just went down. In my case, it was my depression that hit the most. I would find myself having no motivation to get out of bed or even do anything most days, and I just want to lay there and do nothing. And the way I coped was with, wasn't a good way of coping, and I'm not going to say it because I really do not want to trigger anyone, because no one deserves to be triggered like this. But it's something that I regret doing, and it's such a tough subject, so that's all I'm going to say on that bit, really. Now, we're going to move on to work and school and college and uni and things in general. For example, I am quite annoyed that, think schools and stuff are staying open, especially with the new sort of chain of coronavirus being mainly spread and stuff, and it's quite frustrating. And it was ridiculously hard to find a job. I'm lucky I found one just before, obviously, lockdown happened, but I had only gotten 2 shifts in, and we were one of the first places that had to close because of what we did. I'm not going to disclose that because personal and safety. And then in between that, when lockdown had happened, I had a lot of college work to catch up on, and I can tell you that for me that was really stressful and frustrating because of distractions, worrying about COVID, and also just not being able to have the right workspace to do the work that I need, because I'm an art and design student. Still am. And third topic we're moving on to is university. Here's where my life gets absolutely wild. We go off the rails, left, right and centre. Prepare yourselves. Going to uni was wild for me because I had actually applied a month before. Things would be different, no freshers week, making friends would be hard, classes were hard because you had to social distance. And I realised at this time I was demigirl, so that's why I go by Ash. And it means that although I identify as female, I feel slightly detached to it, so I go by she, her, they, them, one or the other. And living in resident halls this year, it's been really hard, and I've only been here for about 3 months. So now these are actually going on to my personal experiences and a little bit of story time. So, for example, in my hall, so there's basically buildings and then there's 3 flats in each building. My building, a week into uni, had the door handle ripped off because it was broken and no one came to fix it, so it got ripped off, which was fun because you could get into the building but not out of the building, which was kind of dangerous, But then there was this main event, which was basically we got evacuated for a week, and it was just kind of like, what? Also, we're getting into topics where I might end up crying because I'm sappy, I'm emotional, and I miss all my uni mates, and it's really fucking hard. Excuse that I just swore, I'm so sorry. But basically, there was a really strong sort of fumey, like, gas scent, even though there's no gas in the area, or, like, gas meters in here. So, we had, people felt unwell, so emails were sent, and then people came to look and were like, yeah, it's not safe until we find it, get out, basically. But we had to camp out in the sports hall for the first night. Oh gosh, that was disastrous but really funny, because if me and a couple of mates, we didn't actually sleep. Well, I slept like at like 4 in the morning, they didn't. And we had some wacky stuff happen, so pushing around in boxes, just going on walks, and just general pissing about. One of my other mates woke up to WAP and told me to shut the fuck up. Oh my god, I almost burst into laughter. Then, like, for the next 2 nights, we got put in these fancy-ass hotels. Oh my god, they were so fancy and so beautiful. I'm not disclosing where I am or what I'm doing because of that. No, I'm not disclosing where I am or whereabouts this all happened for my safety, etc. As for, like, what kind of happened, I kind of have no clue. They weren't really that explanatory for it. They just said something was poured down storm drains and things like that. So then also that week, night terrors had started of triggering events for me, sort of past trauma and stuff, and it would really stress me out, so that was fun. So then obviously we went October, that all happened in October. We then had a couple incidents with a couple of the flats, and then November happened, so we went back into lockdown, and I'm not gonna lie, because of everything that was new, my depression had hit worse than it ever had been. Night terrors, not me really sleeping, you know, coping mechanisms, they really weren't the best, and I regret. But from what I'm going to say, you can tell what it was. I'm a month clean, and I'm all healed up, and I'm on the way to stopping that coping mechanism. You know, I'll try my hardest. Then we come out of lockdown and people start going home for Christmas. I originally went home, but I had to come back to uni as I couldn't really concentrate. I needed to be able to focus, otherwise I wouldn't have passed this semester. I still don't know if I have, but hey, you know. By the time I had handed my work in, the travel window was closed, so was not advised to travel. So I'm here still. Alone. But no, I'm not. Don't mind me, I'm an idiot, there's someone else here. So it would have been nice to go back, but for the safety of me, for the safety of my family, I chose not to. And it was okay at the start, because although I miss my family, we call every day, and I miss my mates, we would call and message, and I knew that it wouldn't be long until I would see them again. But COVID had other ideas, and most of my mates don't know when they'll be able to come back. And it's not the fact that I'm like, oh, I can't see my mates, I'm gonna cry. It's the fact that a lot of them have had such an impact on me. I knew I would have been alright if they could come back, like maybe start of January, end of December, like after Christmas. It's stressful because I miss them a lot. Like, it's so bad how much I miss them. Now not knowing when I can see them again has really affected me more than I thought it would. And it's made me a little bit emotionally unstable. I've been crying a lot recently over it, to be honest. And yeah. Well, that's all, people. Welcome to my channel. I'm surprised I didn't cry talking about that. Have a lovely Christmas, guys, and a Happy New Year. And here's to hoping that 2021 will be a better year. Bye, my lovelies.